Unit 47, Oil and the Elizabeth Watts. The Elizabeth Watts was a cargo ship, and the word cargo meant that a ship carried dry goods. Dry goods were things like grain, steel, cloth, and shoes. These goods were always bundled and packaged. They could be stacked and secured. In stormy seas, such a cargo would not shift. Shifting is a great danger at sea. Not much is known about the Elizabeth Watts, but there's one thing she was noted for. She carried the world's first really big shipment of oil. She was not designed to carry oil, yet she did. She left the United States and arrived safely in England 45 days later. Some say she was lucky. There were no storms. The seas were calm. She tried another oil shipment. She sailed. Beyond that, the records are blank. It was noted that the captain had great trouble in getting a crew. Sailors balked at signing on with an oil ship. To get a crew, the captain used an age-old method. He went from bar to bar. When he found a sailor, he plied him with free drinks of whiskey. Then he guided the staggering sailor up the gangway. By the time he woke, the ship was scudding on the high seas under full sail. But what happened on the second voyage, no one knows for sure. Here's one explanation. The barrels of oil were tied in place by rope. During a storm, some ropes broke. The heavy barrels banged into each other. Some barrels burst, spilling oil. The metal barrels crashing into each other created sparks. Then the horror happened. The barrels caught fire and exploded. Nothing was left, only the prayers of the sailors flying upward like a flock of white doves. Unit 48, Black pepper. Is the pepper plant a bush or a tree? This is a trick question. It is neither. It's a woody climber. It is not a vine, but it is close to it. It needs support. It reaches heights of 30 feet or more. The pepper plant is long-lived. It bears berries for about 40 years. As a trade item, pepper has always been important. Overland caravans were used to get it. These caravans brought pepper from India to Europe. Pepper was so prized that it was used as money. Taxes were paid with it. The pepper plant bears a small berry. It is about the size of a pea. When ripe, it turns red. The pepper berry must be hand-picked. Then it is dried in the sun. It turns black when it is dry. Pepper plants need a long rainy season. The temperature needs to be high. The plants need shade, but not too much. They also need sun. Most of the pepper we use today comes from Java and Sumatra. We import about 30,000 tons each year. Pepper was people's first means of refrigeration. During the Crusades, pepper was used to preserve sausages. Meat packers use 25% of the pepper we import. It preserves the meat. Pepper meals are now common items in the home. Restaurants used to use them too, but no more. The reason is this. Customers were collecting pepper meals. Now, a waiter comes around with a long paper meal. He or she will sprinkle the pepper if wanted. Pepper has also been used as a medicine. One old book recommends it. It says pepper will cure aches and pains. American Indians use it today to cure toothaches. It is also used by French and Dutch housewives. They use it to kill moths and to repel insects. Unit 49, the Groundhog. Everyone has heard of Groundhog Day. It is a minor American holiday. German and British settlers introduced it. Here is what they believed. They thought that the groundhog awakens from its winter's sleep on February 2nd. The groundhog comes out of its hole. If the sun is shining, it will see its shadow. The shadow scares it, so it turns back into its hole. This means 6 more weeks of winter. If the day is cloudy, it will not see its shadow, since it is not scared. It stays out of its hole. This means that spring will soon come. These are the same things we say on Groundhog Day today. Groundhogs are strange animals. They are known mainly to country people. City people just don't know how to look for them. To the urban eye, a groundhog sitting stiffly by its hole may look like a root. It could also be seen as a clod of turf, or it may look like a broken fence post. But a farmer may see groundhogs anywhere he looks. They will be watching like sentinels. The groundhog is a Native American. It is found in most states east of the Rockies. It may also appear as far north as Alaska. It is hated by farmers. The groundhog eats a third of its weight in a day. What an enormous appetite! It may eat about a half ton of alfalfa in a summer, so 10 trucks in a big field would eat 5 tons. Why do groundhogs eat so much? To prepare for winter. In the fall, when food is plentiful, they fill up. The extra food is changed to fat. This fat is what they live on during their long winter sleep. Unit 50, the African elephant. What is the largest animal that lives on land? You most likely said the elephant. You are correct. In the animal kingdom, only the whale is larger. There are 2 kinds of elephants. First is the African elephant. The second is the Asian or Indian elephant. They are related, but they look different. The African elephant is bigger. Its ears are about 4 feet wide. Its tusks are about 6 to 8 feet long. Our interest is with the African elephant. An African male is about 11.5 feet at the shoulder. It weighs from 12,000 to 14,000 pounds. The largest ever measured stood 13 feet 2 inches tall. The elephant has thick skin. It's about 1 inch thick. It's heavy. The skin alone weighs about a ton, yet it is tender. The bite of a horsefly will draw blood. Elephants like to smear mud and clay over themselves. This protects their skin from bites by flies. The elephant's trunk is about 6 feet long. It weighs about 300 pounds. The elephant uses the trunk in many ways. It smells, drinks, and feeds itself with its trunk. The tusks, about 6 feet long, are really teeth. Only 2/3 of each tusk stick out. The rest is in the skull. Tusks are used to dig for food. They are also used to fight. When trained, elephants can lift as much as a ton with their tusks. The molars, the grinding teeth, are about a foot long. Elephants have 4 molars. Each weighs 8 to 9 pounds. The mother elephant gives birth after 20 to 22 months. At birth, the baby weighs about 200 pounds. It is already about 3 feet tall. It drinks its mother's milk until it is 3 or 4 years old. Unit 51. Elephants, alive and dead. Wild elephants live in herds of 10 to about 50. The leader is usually a female. The herd can go through a forest quietly. It travels in single file. It goes about 6 miles an hour. When frightened, it may run at about 25 miles an hour. When they reach water, elephants swim across. They are great swimmers. Elephants eat grass, leaves, small branches, and bark. They especially like the tender leaves on the top of trees. How do they get these leaves? They use their heads to knock trees down. They can easily knock down a 30-foot tree. Elephants also eat berries, mangoes, coconuts, corn, and sugar cane. They love salt. A wild bull eats from 500 to 600 pounds of food a day. Many people want to find the graveyards of elephants. There is a strong belief that such graveyards exist. Here is why. Bones and tusks of dead elephants are almost never found. Searches have been made in forests. Grassy plains have been searched too, but neither bones nor tusks are found. Elephants don't live forever. Where are their bones? They don't just bury themselves. Here's one belief. Say an elephant gets sick or old over 60 years. It instinctively knows death is near. It leaves the herd. It goes off to a secret graveyard. The place is known only to elephants and perhaps other animals, but not to humans. Obviously, such a graveyard would be filled with ivory tusks. These were once very valuable. The objective of explorers was to find this gold mine. This graveyard belief may be a truth or a myth, but it is romantic. It would be nice if it were true.